Thank you for joining me. I'm Scott Ryan. Well, it's day one of not watching the unregistered SUPERPAC, formerly affectionately referred to as Fox News. Last night was the last straw. I turned it on again and watched O'Reilly and watched Hannity, and they all had their typical guests on, like Dick Morris, Karl Rove, all Romney shills. And the theme was pretty much the same. They, of course, reiterated that the American people, or the Republicans, just want this to be over. And Santorum and Gingrich, of course, are just damaging Romney's prospects the longer they stay in. And one of the Romney shills, it was either Morris or Karl Rove, took it to a new low last night. They were saying that Mitt Romney's polls, favorability polls among women, are going down, and it's all Rick Santorum's fault because of the position that he took on birth control. Now, Santorum underhandedly received a lot of bashing on Fox News around the clock. He received a lot of ridicule on Fox News around the clock. And I remember listening to Santorum, and it was very clear from the beginning that what he said, he made a very cogent explanation as to what his personal faith, what that position is on birth control, but he had no intention of ever imposing his personal beliefs on birth control. It's not the same as abortion. And he simply elaborated in a very intellectually forcible manner how birth control has been a negative on the nation when it is prescribed to children as a means of protection. In other words, telling children, hey, you're going to have sex no matter what. So here, we're going to help you along. Instead of teaching abstinence. And that was his point, and he made it in a very intelligent manner. But in the last week, I don't have a problem with Rush Limbaugh, but Rush Limbaugh can take care of himself. We had Rush Limbaugh on the airwaves, and I remember I heard it live, and I couldn't believe what I was hearing. And he said that, I mean, he called Sandra Fluke a slut, and went on about how much sex she's having, and how he wants her to post it on the internet, the videos of which. Now, this was all about the birth control and whether the federal government should be paying for it. That was Rush's argument, which he was correct on the argument. It was an appalling absurdity, he himself acknowledged, and it has turned into a firestorm. He and Rick Santorum had the same positions, but Rick Santorum did it in a much different manner. Respectful, diplomatic, meek. And then we have Fox News. And we have, and by the way, it seems we have thousands of people, millions of people maybe, rushing, no pun intended, to defend Rush by going on this grassroots campaign to punish the sponsors who left the show because of that. It has become such a passionate moment, this primary season. Everybody's out to defend Rush, and I don't have a problem with Rush. But Rush can take care of himself. Rush is making $20 million a year. He's doing $250 million, $300 million contracts a pop. I think Rush can handle himself. But I find it interesting. Nobody's rushing to Rick Santorum's defense. Around the clock, Fox News has allowed Rick Santorum on their network to be ridiculed and to be bashed, what he said to be distorted and taken out of context, and allowed the Romney sleaze machine to dump millions of dollars, state by state, tens of millions of dollars, besmirching the character of Rick Santorum, never questioned it, all the while Romney news that revelations that have come out that would have ended anyone else's campaign if the same thing had happened to them. They came out proving that Romney, again, is a compulsive liar and has been covering it up all along. The fact that he did not only support an individual mandate at the federal level, he advised Obama to implement a federal mandate at the national level. The fact that Jim DeMint, the most powerful and significant conservative in the Senate, came out and said that Romney Care, he called it Romney Care, and he said it was an unjust law. None of that made the news. It came out 2 days before Super Tuesday. Fox News sat on it. I want to know, is there one person there? Is there one person there at Fox News who has the integrity to stand up and do something about this fraud, this deceit being perpetrated on the people who made Fox News the success that it is, the conservatives? How about Mike Huckabee? Mike, Governor Huckabee, I was one of your supporters, early supporters in 2008. I, as well as tens of thousands of people in the grassroots, worked day and night diligently, doing everything that we could to help propel you to the nomination. You went through the same thing. You had, actually, I remember one woman sold her wedding ring to donate to your campaign because she felt that it was that important. Now, the same thing had happened to you, Mike Huckabee. The same thing happened to you. You were rising in all the polls from Michigan, South Carolina, Florida, Georgia. You were above, number one. And Fox News and Mitt Romney's sleaze machine went on a 24-hour distortion and malicious attack campaign against you. Day after day, hour by every single hour, 4 times on the hour, they ridiculed you for the commercial because a bookshelf behind you looked like a cross. And you were ridiculed as a nut and too extreme. And they went day by day. I mean, you had people like Mort Kondracki who actually said that you were a bad person. He said Mike Huckabee is not a good person. And Fred Barnes looked on in agreement and nodded his head. This went on day and night. All of the pundits, all with the same talking points, just like now, they're getting the same talking points, the same tactics that they accused the liberals of doing. They are employing them identically. You know that what is being done to Rick Santorum, the character assassination, is the same exact tactic that happened to you. Well, we're still here. I know that Fox gave you a TV show. I know that you built a nice house in the redneck Riviera. That's all great. I don't begrudge you that. But I challenge you to take a stand and expose this. What's more important? It was really important back in 2008. Now it is detrimental. Brent Bozell, Media Research. Where are you? You see every single tactic being employed by the left to get Obama elected is exactly verbatim the talking points, the incessant talking points, the slander, the push-pulling, telling people what to think and pulling it into their heads until you actually shape. I mean, I heard Huckabee's former campaign manager, Ed Rollins, on Super Tuesday talking about, how Mitt Romney's, that his sleaze bombs are being effective when you start doing the exit polling and all the people are repeating what was said in the Romney commercials. It's the same it is disreputable, it is underhanded, and Fox News, you should be ashamed of yourself. But where's Brent Bozell and the media research team exposing this? You know what side your bread is buttered on, apparently. And Mike Huckabee, you know what side your bread is buttered on, apparently. Roger Ailes, you apparently don't. You are allowing this news network to totally debase any credibility it has left with the conservatives, the people who make Fox number one. I'm not going on a crusade or a campaign to try to get people to stop watching Fox News. I mean, I had been watching it every day for the past primary season. But last night I was so upset. Today, when I woke up, normally the first thing I do is turn on Fox and Friends. I couldn't do it. I could not do it. And I put on MSNBC and Morning Joe. And I flipped around, between there and CNN. And I got to tell you, I felt a lot better. I mean, they actually gave more objective coverage. I was really surprised. They had Joe Scarborough and Donnie Deutsch, and of course the Mika. But the coverage was actually balanced, ironically, or maybe not. But I was just thinking, I'm going to do this, but it was actually a lot better than I thought it would be. I felt at peace. I didn't get upset. It was a good morning. I'm not saying I'll never watch Fox News, but it was a lot easier than I thought it would be. And, even when they have liberals on there, it's a lot easier because they're not pretending to be conservatives. It's amazing what a difference it makes. And I guess there's something to that, because I can go and watch these channels and expect liberals and see what the enemy is doing. And there might be more value to that. But there's something about, it's one thing to watch liberals and detest what they say, but it's another thing to watch liberals who pretend to be conservatives and undermine your party from within. There's nothing worse than being stabbed in the back by someone you thought you could trust. That's the difference. Thank you for joining me. I'm Scott Ryan.